If you are having trouble finding records for your ancestors, I'm going to show you how to go a little bit deeper beyond the typical hints, both on Ancestry.com and FamilySearch.org when we come back. Hey, welcome back to another episode on Genealogy TV. My name is Connie Knox, a lifelong genealogist, here to help you go further, faster, and factually with your family research. Now, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss a thing. Also know that Genealogy TV has its own Facebook page and a website at genealogytv.org and a newsletter. You don't want to miss anything, so make sure you hook up with all of those. Links for everything are in the show notes below. All right, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with Ancestry, and here I am in my tree, and I've got Marie Sorensdottir, Marie D. Sorensdottir. Of course, we're used to chasing the little leaves. Those are the normal hints that we would normally chase, but what I want to show you is how to dig a little bit deeper. There are a lot of other hints that are popping up both in FamilySearch and in Ancestry that I think often are overlooked and people forget to take a look at them. So I just want to point a few of them out to help you go a little further with your family history. All right, so if we drill into Marie's profile, and please get in the habit of right-clicking and opening in a new tab. And I have actually done this for this process already, so I have several tabs across the top here just to walk you through the process so we don't have to wait for things to load. So I'm going to pop over to Marie Dorothy Sorensdottir. That is a Danish name, by the way. Sorensdottir is the daughter of Sorens, and that's a whole other conversation. But if we take a look at, her profile, we have the normal hints right here. We could go take a look and see what we've got here. And this hint, we could go review it just like we normally would. But one of the things that I want to point out is if we are just here from the profile and we go up to search, once we've searched, we get this list of items for us to look at, which is awesome. And I'm sure you all have done this before, but what I think a lot of people forget to take a look at is some of the other hints that are popping up for us. For example, this right here where it says, see more like this. Okay. Now, that's one thing. We're going to talk about that in just a second. The other item that I want you to pay attention to is if you have smart filtering turned on. Now, in this case, I already have a Denmark marriage record in here. So with smart filtering turned on, it's not likely going to deliver any more marriage records necessarily. But what if she was married twice? So keep that in mind. Just pay attention to the fact that smart filtering is turned on. And if you are not finding what you want, turn it off and run the search again and make sure that you're not missing anything. Now, in this case, there's 83,000 records here. So I might want to take some additional steps here and use this filter on the left-hand side to help filter out some items to help narrow this down a little bit. I'm a big believer in letting the algorithms and the search engines work on our behalf. That is what they're built for, and they are getting better and better all the time. So if we click on see more like this, in this case, we're going to get more records that are from other family trees, which again could be very helpful because they might have something that I don't. Remember, this is the ancestry tree, so while they're delivering hints to us, this is not a collaborative tree. Not everything is on my tree. So I might want to take a look at it. And one of the things that I focus in on is how many records do they have and how many sources do they have. I also do pay attention to how many people they have in their tree because it kind of gives me a sense of how active they are. If they've only got 10 people in their tree, they're probably not very active or they're brand new at this. So keep that in mind as well. So jumping back over to the search results for Marie Sorensdottir, If we scroll down a little bit, we can see some of the records that they are suggesting to us. And keep in mind also that the algorithms are actually trying to deliver to the top of the list the stuff that is most important and what the algorithms believe to be the best records. So, you can kind of actually start from the top down. And as you look, you can also see some of the information that is matching the information that you have. And then, of course, as it goes on down, it shows variations of other records that may or may not be part of your ancestry. So if we take a look at this first one, we can see that here she is in a Danish marriage record, which we had some Danish marriage record information already. And ironically, as I was preparing for this, I realized that this was a record I uploaded. And one of the things that I was going to tell you about, which is conveniently located here, is to pay attention to who originally shared the documentation, because it's that person who went digging and found the information and uploaded it to either Ancestry or FamilySearch. And they are the ones who are actively researching that stuff. You can also note the date on which that was uploaded so you can get a sense, how recent that person has been working on that line. And I know this is a very hard image to see, but here she is, Marie Dorothy Soren's daughter. And in Danish registries, it's abbreviated. I know that's almost impossible for you to read. But trust me, there it is, and Mads Hansen. Here's another example of another record from that same list from the search. Again, this was one that I originally shared. Looks like a few months later than the previous image that I found while I was working some Danish registries. And I've linked it to several people in the tree. Now, I realize this isn't necessarily digging into the various hints, but what I'm pointing out here is the hints that might be down here, in that there are other people saving the same information. And it might be a little bit of a stretch, but it might be that they have information that I don't have. So I might want to go look at their tree, and you can do so by digging through there if the tree is public. So if I click on this woman, for example, you can see her tree here. You can click through to it. And if it is public, I will be able to take a look and see what kind of information she has. I can also dig into the people in her summary here, and I can search by last name or first name, and I can see all of the people in her tree because she has set it to be public. Okay, we're going to take a jump backwards for a moment. I want to show you back here on her profile page, we hit the search button, and then we got a list of records. And scrolling down that list of records, we took a look at these two records right here. It just so happened that those were images that I had uploaded, and it was showing me my own stuff. But if we scroll on down for a moment and we take a look at another record and we click through, in this case, it is a church record, which is fine. It's kind of irrelevant to my point. My point being is when you drill through to some of these records, it comes up with a suggested record box. Oh my gosh, this is another set of hints, because what the algorithms are saying is, hey, wait a minute. If this record is interesting to you and you think that this might be related and you're taking a deeper look, well, if that record's interesting to you, then these records might be interesting to you as well, because somewhere along the line, they're making a connection with these suggested records as well. And it might be you find more information in there. In this case, it's Dorothy Hansen. I have not had a chance to dig into that, but it's very possible. I have found so many things through that suggested record box. It isn't funny. And it's not always, you're not always going to have the same set of records popping up in the suggested record box as you are in the little leafy hints from your tree. So make sure you're paying attention to those suggested records. I actually find these to be incredibly helpful. Okay, we're going to jump over to FamilySearch now and talk about roughly the same idea, the same concept over at FamilySearch. And I'm logged into my account, and right here on the home page is a whole new set of recommended tasks that are from the people that are in my tree. Even though that's a collaborative tree, right? I have set myself on that tree, that collaborative tree, and said, this is me. And so it now knows that all of these people are my ancestors, and they're popping up in this recommended task list. So if we drill into this first one, Thomas Henley, and we get into his profile, it's immediately, again, showing me areas that we should be paying attention to, as it's calling it research help, but really it is the same thing. It is showing us areas that we could be focusing on. How many times have you jumped into the family search tree and you jump right past the first page? You jump right into the search catalog or the search box, and you start typing stuff. One of the things that you might want to stop and do is take a look at not only the search help, but the search records, because those are also potential areas that have more records. Also, one last comment about Family Search. Right from the homepage, when you first log in, we talked about these recommended tasks that are here, but if you also scroll down, you're going to start finding all kinds of other hints, threads and conversations, records that are popping up that also might be hints for you. Things that were added recently. Look, 8 months ago, this person added a tombstone record for my ancestor. I can click here and see what my relationship is. So just make sure you're scrolling down occasionally as well, because you might be finding all kinds of little tidbits and jewels and gems that you didn't realize right from the front page, because you went straight to the search records or you went straight to the wiki or whatever. But right there on the home page on Family Search, the minute you log in, it starts delivering you all kinds of information. And so there's another way for you to go a little bit beyond the normal hints from the typical trees in Ancestry, and of course in Family Search as well. Okay, so let's recap. On Ancestry, you have the link that says more like this. Don't forget the suggested records box. And also note who is sharing those records and reach out to them. Also, don't forget who is saving those records right below those little icons with the people's faces on them. Don't forget to reach out to them as well. Now on Family Search, you have the recommended tasks. And search the records on the connected sites. Now, some of those are paid subscription services, so if you're a member, you'll be able to access some of those, but make sure you check them out, because some of them may not be. Also, don't forget to scroll down right from the home page. There is a ton of stuff on Family Search right at the home page that we often overlook. So there are at least 8 tips for you to take you beyond the typical hints, both on Ancestry.com and FamilySearch.org. So I hope that was helpful. If so, give me a thumbs up, and hey, share the video. And well, if you got something out of it, please make sure you put it in the comment sections below. Let me know what the takeaway for you was. All right, also don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notified each time I upload a video. There are more videos on the screen that may be of interest to you right now. So, well, it is time for you to go find your ancestors. So until next time, keep on climbing your family tree.